Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Shit Your Pants Wednesday on the DJB Productions Network. I'm your host, Matt Sunner, and I am joined again by my good buddy and the creator of DJB Productions, Mr. Danny J himself.
Hey
Danny.
everybody, it's Shit Your Pants Wednesday. I'm so excited. I love watching these movies and I hope you guys do too. Remember, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave us some comments down below, share the channel. We put so much effort into this, guys. You wouldn't believe it, but guess what? It's so worth it because we have so much fun doing it. And I hope you guys are enjoying it just as much as we are. It's such a great thing. Matt, we got a great movie for them this week.
Yes, we do. This is one that you and I have both seen. This is something that came through. I think we both found it through just like a suggestion after watching other werewolf movies, kind of a thing. Like, hey, you watch this, so watch this.
Yeah.
And this is a really cool movie. It's a British movie. And again, I wish I should have checked out the year again. We will put all that information in the description, along with links to IMDb, so you can go ahead and find it and watch it yourself. So we'll have that information down there. But this is really cool. This is it's set on a commuter train. It's the last train to leave the station for the evening. And as they're traveling along, the train actually hits something that's on the tracks. Where at the conductor stops. I can't remember. Either there's something laying on the tracks. I can't remember if they actually hit it or if the conductor actually stops the train in time to not hit it. But he goes out to investigate. And lurking out in the woods is a werewolf.
Wow, in England, go figure.
Yeah, it seems like so many of these great werewolf movies like originate like in England.
They do. It's like
in the British Isles.
Here in Pennsylvania, we have a problem with squirrels, and in England, they have a problem with werewolves. I mean, I just get it, In Florida, they have roosters. I mean, everybody's got their thing, So I see it. But this is such a great movie because here's the deal. It's when we say it's like a commuter train, it's like you got done your work day and everybody's got their problems and everybody's got their thing. And it's the end of the day and you're like, oh, I just want to get home. And I just want to, what I mean? It's not like they're traveling per se. This is like the commute home. This is like the normal. This could happen.
I just want to get home. I just want to get the hell home. The day is over, and it's late. So these are people who had already had a long day.
Exactly.
So which helps add to the tension of it because there's not only once they realize that there's something going on, something out in the woods. There is tension between them as far as how do we do this? What do we, what's going to happen? Because again, everybody's already tired and tense and on edge anyway.
Correct. And we get some very interesting backstories of people on there. Everybody's got, and they're not like odd or anything like that, but you get some interesting stories with some of the people. So the one good thing about this is that our protagonist, which is the ticket taker, pretty cool guy. He's got kind of crap going on, that type of thing. And it's, it is what it is, but he's a likable guy, that type of thing. And then throughout the train, you have these different people who don't have like crazy, weird things going on, but they have like, their normal everyday thing. This one's got this problem. That one's got that problem. This one doesn't have a problem at all, whatever the case is. And then the train stops and it's like, oh, this damn train stopped. Can't we just get home? It was like a normal traffic problem. You know what I mean? And little do they know, oh shit.
Literally, they know the conductor, the driver, he gets out to go check out, see what's going on, and he gets attacked by the werewolf. And
no, I forget the actor's name, but the conductor that goes out and checks out the train, this was the actor that played Alfred in Gotham, the TV series.
Really?
It is, yeah.
That is cool. I did not know that.
He didn't have any speaking part really at all in this movie because he was on for like 13 seconds. But that was the actor who played Alfred in Gotham. So I was like, oh, cool. I recognize this guy. That's cool. Which gave me a little bit more confidence in watching it because you only see him like in the first maybe 15 minutes of the movie. You know what I mean? So then get into it. There's werewolves, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to destroy it.
Yeah,
But
we're not going to destroy it, but we're gonna say
practical
that this is.
had some practical effects
Mhm.
and
We-
probably some CGI mixed in
yeah,
there. But the practical effects were very good.
yeah.
Um,
I like the overall design of the creature too,
yes,
because it wasn't your traditional werewolf. As you can see in the cover art, you get a little profile there of the werewolf where it does retain a lot of its human features,
correct, correct,
which
which was
made
kind of
it
neat.
really cool, which made it like
Yeah.
a really cool aspect. It
And
was
it was also kind of creepy looking at the same thing because
yeah,
it was a
yeah.
modified person per se, you know.
Mhm. I think it made it even more terrifying because you knew you were not just dealing with a wild animal here. This wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that is just a
Right.
really big freaking wolf or
Like
whatever.
a letdown for me whenever you see a werewolf movie is when they go with full on wolf.
Hmm.
Like for example, the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson, they at the end turn into wolves, which look like dogs, and dogs are not scary to me.
Yeah,
This biped 6 foot something
yeah.
dude with a crazy werewolf head and like wild hair. That's the kind of stuff that scares me about werewolves and stuff like that. So I was happy that in this, although the werewolves, would you also say they could have been classified if you didn't know it was a werewolf movie? They could have been some sort of a ogre or something in some sort of a
Yeah, if you would have put if you could have
like
you could
you
have
know what I
dropped
mean?
them
Like
into like Lord of the Rings
yeah,
and
they would have looked like kind of like an ogre-ish type
mhm,
of thing. So did they look like wolves per se? Not exactly, but the
yeah,
werewolf that you get out of it though, you're like, you know what? This is kind of a neat thing because in most werewolves, if they're biped werewolves, they have a dog head for all intents
mhm,
purposes. And in this case, they kind of don't, which was kind of neat. It didn't sit there and say, like in the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson, all he did was get lemon chops. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that was kind of like a letdown in that sense. But in this one, the face gets modified, they protrude, the body changes,
mhm,
but it's a creature. It's some sort of a uh, definitely a hybrid of a human and
and
an
a wolf.
animal,
Yeah.
and you kind of get a unique version of that, which I was really. It was kind of refreshing to see that.
Exactly. It is,
Yeah.
it's one of the things I really love to see in any kind of a creature movie, whether it be a werewolf or it be a vampire. I like to see
Yeah.
different movie makers
Yeah.
taking their own spin and saying, what haven't I seen it? What haven't I seen on screen
Right.
before? I
Right.
don't want my wolf, my vampire, my sea creature, whatever it is. I don't want it to look like everybody else's.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
see like I just raided the prop department from some movie from 20 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever,
Right.
and boom, there's your creature. It is nice to see a refreshing take on the
It really
on
is.
the
They took their time on it. The writing was really good, and that's
yes,
something with any monster movie is always up for question. Is the
yes,
writing going to be good, or did they call this in? In most cases, even some of the better horror movies that we've watched, you gotta admit some of it's called in. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
They they focus mainly on the horror aspect
yeah,
instead of making it, is this a good story?
right, exactly. And they let that horror aspect just kind of like carry it along. And
Mhm.
in this particular case, the writing was, I would say, exceptional. I thought the writing was really good because what we end up getting is we get a scenario where the different people that are on the train, once again, they have different aspects to life and who's a nice person, who's not a nice person. It's kind of like in The Walking Dead. As you get through the first few seasons, you get through the dead people, and now it's all about the humans. It's all
Yeah.
about our psyche, and
Mhm.
we're not the monsters. But
Mhm.
really, inside, are we not the monsters?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you get with this: is that you get how some people are like really assholes,
Yeah.
and you get this like non-unity, like like the automatic thing is
As long as I live, I don't care what happens to anybody else.
right, I'll push you in front of that werewolf if it means
Mhm.
I'm getting out of here.
The
And
the
that's
old
the kind of thing
the
you
old
get with
if
some of
we're
them.
attacked by a bear, I don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than you, kind of a thing.
Exactly. Now granted, I mean, is that 90% of humanity? Sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But in this case, you get that it flushes out, and they don't work together wholeheartedly as a team, which is good because it's kind of hard to expect that, especially if they're people that don't know each other. You know,
Exactly.
you gotta remember, these are people that are riding this commuter train. Now, granted, they might have seen each other before and stuff like that, but think about when you're on a commuter train. Do you talk to people? Do you not? Like,
Most of the time,
one guy, Dr. Rock Ray Thomas, who's on many of our shows, he's the only guy I met on a commuter train.
yeah.
And it's because he don't shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So like that's what it comes down to. So
Yeah.
in that sense, this is kind of a unique thing where these people are like, yeah, I know who you are because I've seen you on the train before, but I don't need to know you. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, so really nobody has a stake to say, oh, I really care and I'm going to look out for you. Nobody's looking out for anybody but Numero Uno on this.
Yeah.
And it's
and
like,
go ahead. I'll let you
I was
finish
going to
your
say, and the last thought being that, like, everybody went into this train on this particular evening with a problem in their head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it's like the problem doesn't subside. It's
It's
by
exacerbated.
The way, we're gonna add a werewolf to it. Yeah, we're gonna have a werewolf too. All this and a werewolf. You know, that type of thing. You know what I mean? So that was kind of cool too.
And what I liked about it too is, I mean, you get to see the creature pretty early on. I mean, you get so many of these movies where it drags it out and it goes and goes and goes and goes. Then you finally see the creature, and it's like, okay, boom, we fight the creature, and this happens, and then okay, movie over. It's like, no, man, this thing gets in there. One of them actually gets bitten. An older lady gets bitten, but they and this is probably one of the only spoilers I want to try and give away here is they all do in that moment come together as a group, and they take this creature out.
Well, they have to.
Exactly.
They have to. It's been her. It's going to fight me.
You know, they have no choice. It's kind of like, oh, wow, okay. Then you look at the runtime and you go, wait a minute. This movie still has quite a bit of way to go. And then you realize that was not the only one.
And it doesn't drag.
And it doesn't drag.
Like you're saying, we get a lot of stuff.
Boom, 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 and just keeps coming.
The pace is great because you get a lot of stuff early and often throughout it. So the pace is really good. You're not bored at any given time. The werewolf stuff is like great werewolf stuff. And then the human stuff, you're like, great human stuff. You know, it wasn't like in some movies where you're like, oh, can we get through this human stuff so I can get to the werewolf or whatever the case. It literally was. Everything was interesting.
The story was compelling. The story aspect was great. It kept you engaged. And those moments kept the tension high. It kind of gave you a second to catch your breath in between the action with the werewolves.
And then, folks, let me just tell you, the reveal at the end,
awesome.
Just awesome. Awesome. So you definitely you're gonna love it. And the ending was great.
Great little twist and little twist on the ending.
There's a little
twist on the ending. Not a big twist. No. But it was definitely a thing of like you're kind of cheering, you know, you're kind of like, yeah, and you're not cheering for who you think,
right?
Per se.
Yeah. So it is. It's a great ending. It's a great movie. I would watch this over and over again. I honestly think I would. It's one of those great things. And for Shit Your Pants Wednesday, you're not going to do much making fun of it at all.
No, you are not.
Because you're gonna sit there and enjoy this movie. You will enjoy this movie.
It's legitimately scary. I mean, the scary parts I think are legitimately scary as far as this genre. Yeah, because I know we have some upcoming episodes we'll talk about where it's more of a true tension, and the entire movie is just kind of has you're tense. You're not relaxed when you're watching it. This one, you're relaxed when you're watching it, and then when the action sequence kick in, it's just like, oh my god, this is so good because the effects are good, mostly practical effects.
Overall, I give this awesome. if I'm going to give this a 1 to 5 rating, with a 5 being the best rating, I'm giving this a 5 personally.
I'd say,
and I'll say that, and the reason I say that, and you'll say, well, 5's kind of an impossible thing, 4.5 maybe. No, I'll give it a 5 because you know why? I cannot find something wrong with the movie.
No. Neither can I. If you really,
I cannot find anything wrong with the
dissect
movie.
it, you know, it's done well. I mean, it is overall, I guess we said,
This
it's
will
good
sound
effects,
really messed up. This
good
will sound really messed
acting.
up. I don't like British movies because for some reason the accent bothers me. I know it sounds very like bad. I know that. I know that. But everybody's got their triggers, and that's like a trigger to me. So to watch, I'm like, oh, it's a British movie. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, they're doing it. They're hooking it up. Okay, good, good, good. And I was like, boom, 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 boom. I love it. I'm telling you, I give it a 5. I love this movie. It's a great shit your pants Wednesday recommendation. And I think I don't want to say your entire family, because what kind of an asshole would I be if you invite your small kids in to see this movie? But you understand what I'm saying. Get your friends over, get your pizza and watch it.
Hey, little Billy, I know you're 4 years old and it's almost time for bed, but come watch this movie about a really cool dog.
Yeah. Don't ask me about pets later, you little bastard. All right. This is why Dad said no. You get a hamster. That's about it. You know, the kid's like, I don't want a hamster. Fuck it. You know.
So, I think that, I mean, we've really, there's really not much more to say about this movie other than
not at all.
Watch it, enjoy it. It is fantastic. Cool can't recommend it enough, because I know when I watched it, I immediately sent a message to Dan, because again, as we've said on previous episodes, werewolves are Danny's favorite.
That's my.
And I said to him, okay, you got to see this. And the text I got immediately back was, I've seen that. That was fucking awesome.
I loved it. I loved it. It's such a good thing. And like I said, with the werewolf movies that we've come across, and we touched on like late phases and a recent episode and stuff like that, this movie, as far as a werewolf movie is concerned, it holds its own. It's an original take, which is going to be really good. You know, it's not your classic, I'm cursed and I have to find it. Like it doesn't dwell in any of that.
Yeah, I have to find the head where the original werewolf and kill the
that honestly can be exhausting in times, depending on how they write a movie. This has no dealing with that whatsoever. You don't have to worry about that. There is no folklore to worry about or anything like that. You're like, shit. There's something out there, and we're not leaving to go home yet. And and these people, until this werewolf gets in the train, their biggest problem is that we're delayed going home.
Yeah.
You know, it's a traffic issue. And you know what? And then once they get past the first werewolf, they're like, well, can we get the train moving? Like, they still want to get home. Like, you know what I mean?
It's just like, let's just go. And I will also say, and again, I know we want to wrap this up, but I think the backstory you get on the origin of the werewolves is touched on, but again, doesn't go into real lore.
No,
you know,
it's not. It gives you enough to know why it's happening.
Yes, just enough.
Why,
and again, it's kind of like, why did we now know why this is happening, but why did that happen? And it doesn't get into that, and it doesn't drag you out and create a story. Because again, it's kind of like, that's another story for another time, kind of a thing. And we're focusing on the here and the now.
And this is not a thing where, because this particular night, or they just happen to be coincidentally going through. No, nothing to do with that at all. England is just fucking ravaged with werewolves. They have a werewolf problem. They probably have some sort of pest control for these things. I don't know. But that's like their thing. Like in Pennsylvania, every once in a while, a bear pops up. I mean, granted, nobody's getting bit by a bear and turning into a bear. But in England, apparently these fucking things are all over the place. And it's just, you just got to watch where you go. It's like being in a bad neighborhood.
The woods are infested.
It's like being in a bad neighborhood. You know what I mean? Instead of the cholos, they got werewolves. You know, that's what it is. You know. So Matt, take us home. Get us out of here.
All righty. All right. Well, for myself and Danny J, we want to thank you for watching. As we said before, if you're enjoying it, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with your friends. Head over to our Facebook page, SYPW. We'll have a link for that in the description. And also, as another little aside, we'll have links there for the band 7 Year Witch. They are providing our theme music. They've been so generous to do that. So we'll have links to find them as well. Really great rock and roll band out of Anderson, South Carolina. So please check them out as well. And I will also, if you are a content creator here on YouTube, I suggest to you reach out to your other content creators. If you have musicians, graphic artists, let the community support each other. We gotta help each other out. I mean, we can.
Yeah. So we're happy too. So definitely, go ahead.
So until the next episode, we hope you have yourself a good week. We hope you check out Howl. And until then, make sure you got on a clean pair of drawers, because you just might shit your pants.
Tip your pizza guy.
Tip your pizza guy, because he's going to smell.